The Ghana Revenue Authority has revised upwards all pay-as-you-earn rates, and this took effect on the first day of 2023. Workers earning 402 cedis a month have been excluded in this exercise. However, all earning above this threshold will attract taxable rates outlined by the authority. My colleague Isaac Ofieje, who is a data analyst with the JoyNews research desk, joins me in the studio with details. Kofi, walk us through this new rates and put out which has been put out by the Revenue Authority.
So just like you said, this is a pay-as-you-earn, tax rate, and so it is progressive. It simply means that the more you earn, the more you should be ready to pay taxes. And so if you are a worker and your taxes or your salary has not been increased or your income has not been increased this year, it simply means that you're going to pay the same rate that you used to pay. But if you have an addition, then it means that you should be willing to pay more. So let's look at what we have on the smart wall right now. So if you are earning 402 cedis, you are excluded from this whole exercise. That means that you are not going to pay any tax on your income if it is 402 cedis. But if you add an additional value of 110, cedis, making your income 512 cedis, then you should be willing to pay 5% on this amount. This will attract, 5 cedis and 50 pesos by the end of the month. If you add, 130 cedis and then you earn 642 cedis, be willing to pay, some 10% on your income. If you are earning some, 3,642, your tax rate is now 17.5%. Yeah. And the taxable amount is 525 cedis. Those who have now added 16,395 cedis to their income will now attract a tax rate of 25%. And so, just like you see, if you are adding more and it exceeds 50,000 Ghana cedis, 35% is the threshold for you. Okay. Above this, you are going to pay 35% as income tax. But if you are earning below, then there's a 30%. But we should know that those who are earning between, less than 402 cedis or exactly 402 cedis have been excluded. This is the month. Let's look at what will happen if, in the entire year, if on your end, is this the monthly, income tax. Let's look at the year, the annual one. Okay. Exactly. So if you earn 4,824 cedis, this cumulative simply means that you are excluded from this, tax handle. You do not attract any tax. But if the whole year you earn 6,144 cedis, you're willing to pay 5%. And if the whole year you also earn, 7,704 cedis, you're willing to pay some, 154 cedis as tax, and your rate is, 10%. And those earning 600,000 Ghana cedis, they will attract a tax rate of 30%, and the cumulative amount is around 107,000 Ghana cedis. Yeah.
Does this have anything to do with government's revenue target?
So if you look at 2023, this year, government has actually projected to spend more than 200 billion Ghana cedis.
Right.
Tax revenue or revenue from taxes around 143 billion Ghana cedis. And if you do the math and you compare the entire tax revenue to the entire revenue that governments want to collect this year to tax revenue is about, I think, 75% of the entire revenue that we want to collect. And if you drill down into this tax revenue, if you break it down and you look at personal tax, it's around 16 billion that government wants to collect this year. And if you compare 2023's personal tax, the projection to that of 2022 last year, then you see that government has actually increased this projection by more than 35%. So this year, government will really want to collect a lot more from taxes, and some will come from personal taxes. That is why possibly they've increased the pay as you earn. This is pay as you earn. So the more you earn,
the more you pay.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much. Kofi is with our research desk. He's a data analyst. So other stories, Roads Minister Kwesi Amakwata says government is likely to pay more interest on monies owed road contractors due to government's inability to raise money to pay the contractors on time. According to the 2020 Auditor General's report, government paid over 60 million cedis interest for failing to pay contractors after 91 days of raising certificates for payment. Appearing before the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament, Sector Minister Amakwata said the payment is unavoidable. Here is excerpt of his submissions.
Motorway has to be worked on. It has gone beyond its design life. We all know that motorway was constructed in the mid-60s, and it was supposed to have, a design life of 50 years. It has gone beyond that. So there are plans to reconstruct the entire motorway, the 19.5 kilometer motorway. And as much as government plans to reconstruct that road, there are few challenges, and I believe very soon we shall go over those challenges and start work. But I wouldn't put any specific date on it. But we have gone very, very far, and it may not be long at all from now that work on motorway will start. And it comes under the project name of reconstruction of the motorway. But let me use this opportunity to say that that project is not limited to the Accra-Tema stretch of the motorway. It's just a project name, and it goes up to Tetekwashi, to the Apenkwa Bridge, and ends at the Neoplan traffic light there. And it's a major work, because the motorway itself between Accra and Tema is going to have as many as 4 interchanges at various sessions, and it will go, some of the lanes will go up to 10 and 5 on the other side. And it will lead, the same project will lead to the remodeling of the Tetekwashi interchange, to deal with the current traffic situation being experienced, at the mall area. There will be another interchange at the Fiesta Royal Hotel there, that traffic light, to deal with the traffic situation there.
We can now go live to Parliament and speak with my colleague James Aveji, who's been monitoring the meeting for us. We know the committee has charged some directors of the Trades Ministry to pay monies to the GRA. Tell us more about that.
Okay, Aisha. Trades Ministry has been at the committee sitting, and it emerged that they failed to recover some taxes from some institutions amounting to about some almost 2,000 Ghana cedis. The explanation given was that those regional directors who were supposed to be in charge of collecting those tax were unable to do their duties. And so when you look at the Auditor General's report, it mentioned the directors, the regional director, as well as the accountants who were supposed to be responsible for that. And so if you look at the Auditor General's report, it recommended that a failure to retrieve those money, the 2 directors, which is the regional director as well as the accountant, are supposed to pay the money to the Ghana Revenue Authority. And the explanation from the Trade Ministry is that so now, since 2020, after this report was put out, they were unable to retrieve this money. And so the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee has recommended that with immediate effect, the 2 persons officers who are in charge, which is the regional manager, Mr. Isaac Nimako, as well as Mr. Emmanuel Ampedi Sasu, should pay an amount of 1,914 Ghana cedis to the GRA for their failure to retrieve those or to withhold those taxes. Now, the Trade Ministry again was also supposed to refund or retrieve some money, some 46,884 Ghana cedis from some two staff. We are told that at the Osu Children's Home, these officers were supposed to have vacated their positions from 2019, but their names are still active on the payment road, and they have been paid in excess 46,884 Ghana cedis. Now, the Auditor General's report recommended that these monies should be retrieved. So now, the ministry says it has been able to retrieve only 15,000 Ghana cedis out of the 46,000 Ghana cedis. And so the directive is that they need to retrieve this money. The explanation has been that these two persons who have vacated their posts are currently out of the country. And so all effort to reach them to pay the money has proven futile. And it is some relative of the two who have been able to pay the 15,000. So the relative are also saying that they are unable to reach the two persons to pay the rest of the money. But the directive from the committee is that they should retrieve this. Currently, we have the Minister of Interior before the committee answering question on why the ministry has charged some 5% instead of 7% of monies that some mining companies who were importing explosives were to charge as tax. The law had been that the Ministry of Interior needs to charge some 7% of the value of the explosives they were importing at the period, but the Ministry of Interior charged only 5%, accounting to the loss of close to 2 million Ghana cedis to the state. The explanation from the Deputy Minister of Interior is that at the time the law changed, it was at 5%, and so the 7% at the time, the company explained that they did not factor the 7% into their budget, and so they had to pay only 5%.
James Aveji is our man in Parliament. Let's stay in Parliament because we're told that aside the Interior Minister, the IGP has also appeared before the Public Accounts Committee.
Suppliers and service providers, have you complied with this recommendation?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, the matter is that the funds were under the World Bank project, and the funds and its associated expenditures do not attract withholding taxes. And we engaged the auditors, and they realized that they themselves also prompted us with a letter communication to the effect that we were right. So it has been reconciled. I thank you.
Auditors, can you confirm that in your subsequent discussion with them, you agree that that payment shouldn't attract any tax?
Honorable Chair, I think that reconciliation has been done and accepted. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. I'm done.
Thank you, Honorable. Let's go to paragraph 630. Honorable Kinster.
Thank you, Chairman. Unaccounted exhibit. This is the Ghana Police Service, TAQUA. It was recovered that the divisional CID in TAQUA retrieved an amount of $8,100 as exhibit, and CFA 40,000 also as exhibit from a suspect in 2016 in the case of the Republic versus Nana Akakpo and 3 others. And it wasn't available for audit verification. And the recommendation was that the divisional CID in charge immediately produce the exhibit. Has it been done?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, the background to this case is the fact that during the routine checks, the police team at that jurisdiction came into contact with 4 people in a vehicle, and the check led to the discovery of foreign currencies, some dominated in dollars, others dominated in CFA francs. And when they analyzed it instantly, with their instinct, they thought that there was something wrong with the currencies. It couldn't be genuine. So they picked them up and took them through the process of investigations. And as a result, those values, the US dollars and the CFA funds, were sent to the CID headquarters. And the right people to take a second look at the document, at the money, to indicate whether it's genuine or not, are the countries where these currencies are used. So the US dollars were sent through the US Embassy to authorities in America to help us out. And we followed up as at July last year with a report asking them to give us information on it. And since then, nothing has come. And we followed up even this morning again with a phone call from Interpol, pleading with them that it is going to be a subject of discussion at the Public Accounts Committee. And they have assured us that they will get back to us on that matter. That is for the US dollars. Honorable Chair, on the issue of the CFA funds, the matter was that initially the arresting officers in their initial count realized that it was 40,000 CFA francs. But in the course of the investigation, that was what was documented initially for the auditors to be privy to. But the police on their own, in the course of the investigation, realized that it was more than the 40,000. It was 190,000. So that 190,000 was brought from Takwa to the CID headquarters, and through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, it was sent to Cote d'Ivoire, the authorities, for them to authenticate it for us as to its genuineness or otherwise. And that was done, and the results with the accompanying appendix indicate that they were all faked. And this, when they was returned, it was sent back to the team at Takwa from the CID headquarters. Honorable Chair, there has been confusion as to who actually received it and the whereabouts of the money. And when it came to our attention, we have looked at the matter and identified 3 police officers who are involved in the matter. Unfortunately, one of them has resigned from the service, and we are making an effort to look for him and for him to be held accountable. The other 2, one of them is still within the Western region, Takwa Enclave, and the other one in the Ahafo region. All have been interdicted, and the matter has been referred to the Police Professional Standard Bureau to conduct investigation and for us to know the whereabouts of the fake 190,000 CFA francs, and anybody found culpable there was in accordance with law. So, Honorable Chair, that's where we are on the matter. I thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. At least something has been done. People have been interdicted. But then I'm asking, the US dollars, this has been since 2016.
Honorable Chair, I think you are, not that I think, I'm sorry, you are right. And I'm equally embarrassed by that, because I think that some of these matters, we shouldn't allow them to be lingering on for that long. So we'll keep engaging the authorities for them to give us the feedback. And we also have working with my colleagues to find out even the status of the rare case in terms of its prosecution to ensure that we bring closure to the matter. So we can assure you that we will learn the relevant lessons. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Auditors, the recommendation was for the divisional CID in charge to be immediately produce a exhibit for inspection and failure, but he has given explanation, so I don't know whether there's anything else to say. Thank you.
I think all the explanation has been given to the IGP. Thank you.
Chairman.
Thank you very much. Paragraph. Yes, Honorable Ajay Burton.
Chairman, I don't know. I'm wondering, or I'm trying to seek some form of explanation. In this country, if people talk about fake currencies, what is the... We don't have a mechanism to determine whether this currency is fake or not. Our only recourse is to go to the embassies. Is it a practice?
Honorable Chair, the issue has always been that there's always opportunity for a second opinion to be double sure what you are doing, because at the end of the day, a mother knows the taste of a baby, so to speak. So if you happen to have access to the baby and the baby is crying beyond what you can contain, and you want to make sure that at the end of the day the baby stops crying, probably get a confirmation from the mother as to what else you could do to be very sure that you are able to keep it. And that's the methodology we use in trying to make sure that we don't just go to court and embarrass ourselves, because a defense counsel will come to you. So you are not the issuing authority. On what basis did you determine that is a fake currency? We may do that, and then we get a confirmation for the issuing authority so that we prove our case beyond reasonable doubt. I thank you.
Honorable Isaac Opokum, paragraph 632.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, paragraph 632, unaccounted fuel. Between January 2019 and June 2020, Asenkregwa Division, Ghana Police Service, was given an allocation, a fuel allocation of 90,000. And per the logbook, only 8,155.57 worth of fuel is accounted for. The difference of 81,844.43 is not accounted for. First of all, let me find out whether the difference has been accounted for now.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. We were guided by the recommendations of my seniors, the auditors, to the effect that we should see to it that going forward, this will not happen again, which we have done, and making sure also across the country so that we don't leave any stone unturned. So that was what we were guided. But we knew that it is also important that even though the auditors did not specifically ask us to look into the matter, we felt that it is just unacceptable that it's not even 10% that could not be accounted for, but as much as at 90%. So what we have done is here again refer the case to the Police Professional Standard Bureau to find out what it is that we can be issued with fuel. You go to the station, fuel station, you pick the fuel, you have a logbook to enter the fuel and the quantity and the mileage, and you don't do that and you keep going there and taking it. It means there is something amiss. So we have asked the PPSB to look into it. Unfortunately, we must concede that instruction to the PPSB is just recent, and we thought that if this matter, we have taken a critical look at it, it will have been probably done by now. But now that we are looking into it, even though the auditors did not specifically ask us to, because we think that we need to use it to serve as a lesson for all of us in the service, that you cannot just take government resources and don't account for it. We also understand that at times when under pressures of operations, you just rise there, you take the fuel, and in the midst of the emergency, you are not sure what to do. But we cannot be a situation where almost 90% of the time, because we don't do operations virtually, such emergency operations every day. So, Honorable Chair, the sum total is that we are now looking into it to find out what actually happened. And that is being done by the Professional Standard Bureau. of the police service. But the most important thing is that the auditors recommended that we should see to it that it doesn't happen again, and we are putting measures to ensure that it doesn't happen again. I thank you very much, sir.
Chairman, okay, I won't ask. Auditors, are you able to confirm whether the recommendations have been carried out?
Honorable Chair, issues have been put in place to curtail those unaccounted fuel. Thank you.
Gentlemen, we are good to go.
All right, thank you. Let's now move on to paragraph 638. That is payments of unearned salary, 40,998 to about 3 officers. This one for Immigration Service, Tema. One Anani Frank, Deputy Superintendent, received 30,000. Alija Jeffrey received 8,005. Biwin Janet Ntibi 2,360, totaling 40,997.8. Now the auditors have recommended that the commander should immediately recover the unearned salary from the 3 staff, failure of which the amount should be recovered from the commander and the validators. I want to find out from the Ghana Immigration Service if the recovery has been made.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Yes, Honorable Chair, the unearned salaries were certainly brought to our attention and action was taken. In the case of Frank Anani, that was a voluntary retirement in October 2019. And in January 2022, the amount was deducted from his pensionable emoluments and duly recovered and paid. In the case of Jeffrey Alija, I think there was a mistake in his pensionable date. It had been captured that he should have retired in May 2029, but it actually was July 2019. So that mistake was rectified, brought to attention of the auditors, and the mistake rectified. So then it indicated that there was no issue of unearned salaries. So that matter has also been closed. Honorable Chair, in the case of Janet Ntibi, she went AWOL, and again, there was a case of 1 month unearned salary. Upon persistent chasing up of the relatives, the amount of 2,360 was recovered and also paid. So, Honorable Chair, all those amounts have been duly accounted for. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Auditors, can you confirm this for me?
Honorable Chair, the said document has been given to us and we have confirmed. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move to paragraph 640, ranking.
The auditors noted that Ghana Immigration Service, Konongo, that the district commander, ASI Techi Mensah Abrampa, authorized and made payments amounting to 5,814 cedis for office stationery, contract charges, electricity, and without raising payment vouchers to support the payments. The auditors recommend that the amount should be recovered from District Commander ASI Techi Mensah Abrampa and the accountant.
Honorable Chair, that's true. That again was brought to the attention of the service. A team of auditors was sent to Konogu to investigate the matter and take evidence as to what had occurred. The records were made available. Yes, he had certainly made those expenditures. He had receipts, and all these things were recalled, and the necessary reconciliations made. He was then advised to raise the necessary payment vouchers to support those payments. I think that we submitted these documentations to the auditors. Subsequent to that, having seen the infraction, this was a new officer who had been posted to the area. So we've taken the measures of we took him through petty cash payment management, and also extended that to some of the other regions to forestall any future occurrence. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Auditors, are you satisfied that the document that was submitted later?
Honorable Chair, we are satisfied with those documents submitted to us. Thank you.
Okay, let me recommend that you train your officers in these matters, administration and management, before you give them the post. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Very well noted. Thank you.
Thank you very much, please. Now let's go to paragraph 643, and it's Ghana National Fire Service. You have 6 people that payments were made for payments were made that they didn't deserve, 42,054 Ghana cedis. What is the status of this amount?
Honorable Chair, thank you very much. For Ghana National Fire Service, and Yinam 38,685.95. This was paid to some personnel. The amount was duly earned by the officers named in the Auditor General's report for 2020. The officers concerned were drawn from other fire stations to operationalize the then Bonsu fire post into full functioning fire station in 2019 as a strategic support for the Suhum and Yinam fire stations. At the time of the audit exercise, Bonsu fire station had no management unit, so all personnel transferred from other district fire stations remained on their old management units, hence the lapse. Evidence of their positions have been duly attached as Appendix B, which we have submitted to the auditors. And now Bonsu Fire Station has its own management unit, and all personnel have been duly transferred onto its management unit.
So you have the fire service taking a stand at the Public Accounts Committee, and earlier the IGP Akufo Dampari was also before the committee answering questions pertaining to spendings by his units across the country, some unaccounted for, and which he apologized and said that going forward they'll make sure that they do the right thing. Let's take a break on JoyNews today. When we return, we'll bring you business.
Hello, good afternoon. Let's do business now with me, Beverly Broom. The Chamber of Automobile Dealership Ghana is lamenting the low patronage of used vehicles following the recent raid by the Federal Bureau of Investigation and Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO. According to General Secretary of the Chamber, George Dumenu, the raid has created mistrust between purchasers of used vehicles in their dealership. The Chamber organized a stakeholder meeting with security agencies to seek partnership and prevent the importation of stolen vehicles.
9th December 2022, UOCO, in collaboration with the FBI and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, raided a number of used auto dealerships and retrieved several imported luxury vehicles suspected to have been stolen from the United States of America and Canada. In view of this, the Chamber of Automobile Dealership Ghana held a stakeholder meeting with security agencies to get clarity on the foregoing to enable the Chamber educate its members. Here is General Secretary of the Chamber, George Dumenu.
In our opinion, majority of these cars are actually not stolen cars, as it is being alleged. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, is it possible that an ordinary Ghanaian importer can outwit the inspectorate agencies of developed countries like US and Canada? The checks and balances in these countries are so strict that an ordinary trader from Ghana does not have the sophistication needed to penetrate such a crime easily. We want to get clarity on the foregoing to enable Target educate its members, our customers, and the general public. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this we believe will affect such unfortunate incidents which occurred on the 9th of December 2022 from Rio of Area.
Mr. Dumenu also used the opportunity to urge security agencies in USA and Canada to ensure due diligence are done before allowing shipment of used vehicles out of their jurisdiction.
This raid has had great consequences for our business in the used auto dealership in Ghana by creating a huge mistrust between purchasers of used vehicles in our dealership. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we want to call on stakeholders somewhere here to use their good offices to save the situation before it gets out of hand. Indeed, our traders, through no fault of theirs, are only struggling to make a genuine living. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our humble submission here is that the authorities in the United States of America and Canada do proper diligence before allowing shipment of used vehicles out of their jurisdiction.
The Chamber of Automobile Dealership Ghana membership comprised of Vehicle and Asset Dealers Union of Ghana, Korea Importers Association of Ghana, Tema Car Dealers Association, Apenkwa Car Dealers Association, and Automobile Dealers Union of Ghana.
Now, HD Plus says it remains committed to providing its customers with affordable television experience, hence the new addition to its channels called Score HD. Speaking at the launch of the channel, CEO of SES HD Plus Ghana, Adelaide Abiu Williams, said customers will not be required to pay any additional charges to access the new channel.
HD Plus has launched a new channel called Score HD. This allows customers who opt for quarterly and yearly payment to enjoy further discounts from the standard monthly package. Speaking at the launch of the channel, CEO of HD Plus Ghana, Adelaide Abiu Williams, said customers will not be required to pay any additional charges to access the new channels.
For operating in a sustainable way, and through the value that we give our customers, we are looking for the return. And so for us, it's about giving the best content in high definition quality, as well as the world-class TV viewing experiences, such as the ability to pause, reverse, and record live TV, the ability to watch TV on the go with free data, then also catch up on shows that have been aired 48 hours after. And through all this, we believe that the platform HD Plus will grow and we can meet our revenue objectives. If you are an existing HD Plus subscriber and you already have an active subscription, Score HD has been added to you at no extra cost.
Score HD was introduced following a high demand by customers for a premium football channel.
And that's all for business. For more business news, do log on to myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Beverly Broom.
Muftar Nabila Abdullah here with the sports on JoyNews today. Former Black Stars coach Kwesi Appiah has applied for a vacant role left behind by Otto Addo following his decision not to stay on as head coach of the senior national team after Ghana's participation in the FIFA World Cup. Kwesi Appiah, who has already managed the senior national team twice, and some of these footage on your screen right now are some of the training sessions that he had with the Black Stars. And now he said this was his second tenure when he made a return to the Black Stars on April 4, 2017. And his third tenure was between 2012 and 2014. He came back in 2017 and his contract ended in December 2019. Now he's also decided that he wants a third comeback to head the technical bench of the senior national team. Many of you would recall that just a couple of days ago in an interview with JoyNews' Prime Take, he said he would apply for the coaching job if the Ghana Football Association indicates that interested technical team members should submit their applications. And what we understand is that he has submitted that application hoping for a third-time stint with the senior national team. And we can also indicate authoritatively that if indeed Kwesi Appiah has submitted an application for a vacant Black Stars coaching job, there is the possibility that he will be handed the role. Now, let's hear from the Minister of Youth and Sports, Mustafa Usef, who has said that the Ghana Football Association is finalizing their report and they are likely to submit it either this week or early next week. He spoke at the Public Accounts Committee.
After the World Cup, countries that lost their head coach have made effort of replacing them. And you've mentioned countries like Portugal, France, and they've even renewed. Some of them contracts have been renewed. In Ghana, the FA, which is the agency or the organization in charge of making sure that they hire a coach, is in the process. And I personally have engaged them, and they are working to, as at last week, the indication was that they will bring the final report to the ministry, possibly this week or next week. And because I also know that we have an assignment in March, and we need to have a replacement of head coach in place so that he can start preparing in earnest to get our team in place for the AFCON qualifiers, which is going to take place in March. So countries should be assured that the FA is working to ensure that we get a replacement.
That's your sports for now. But we do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com and also at 2 p.m. when we come your way with sports today. We appreciate your company. Up next is World News.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on JoyNews today. Now, away from that, US-based Ghanaian gospel minister Thelma T says she can't wait to help inspire and impact positively with her craft. Speaking in an interview with JoyNews, the musician says she is ready to take the gospel music industry by storm.
Visions is to inspire people out there that the Lord has blessed with gifts and talent to come out and be confident enough to allow the Holy Spirit to use you to bless someone, because you know what? Your obedience is going to bless someone. Someone's blessing is depending on your obedience. Right. And that's what really pushed me. So even though I'm worshiping, I'm inspiring people, I'm also preaching that word that do not sit on the gift that you've been blessed with, but come out. And my gift is mainly in worship and praise and inspiration.
So how about people that you want to collaborate
collaborate with? Have you monitored the system and seen, some of them that you might want to work on and work with, and why?
I've been inspired by very, I would say, key ministers of God. You would have people like Sisi Winans. And here in our Ghanaian community, we have Stella Dugan, the group Joyful Way. I used to be at Legon, and they used to call me Berma Yesu, because that was a song that I led a lot. So I've been inspired by the group and by different artists, and currently Dinah Hamilton is one of my sisters that I look up to.
On that note, we end Showbiz here on Joy News today. There's more Showbiz news when you log on to myjournalline.com. My name is Becky. Good afternoon to you, Aisha.
Good to see you, Becky. That's how we wrap up the bulletin this afternoon. Log on to myjournalline.com for more of the news. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye-bye.